Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. McKenna?
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich?
Here.
Mr. Olszewski? Mrs. Lane?
Present.
Mr. Dice?
Here.
Mr. Lemak?
Here.
Mr. Diakopoulos?
Here.
Mayor Sinan?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Nestico, I believe we only have one unlisted amendment, and that is a couple of plaques for Carl. So.
That's correct. If I may, I do have two plaques here. If I could maybe have Carl and yourself come down. Maybe Matt can help me as council vice president.
Okay, very good.
We'll just go maybe right over here. Sir. And I don't necessarily have anything prepared. Council and Councilwoman Ling helped put something together, just a little commemorative plaque to recognize the 8 years that you each have served on council. Obviously, I don't think Dane is going too far. He'll be taking over the mayor's seat here. And Carl, hopefully we'll see you here in the audience in the upcoming year. But she was kind enough to put these together. Has a few pictures here of each of the years of council pictures that were taken. And so actually I have Dane's here, so I'll go this way. And maybe I'll present that to you and Carl. And I don't know if any of the other council members, or certainly Mac as the vice president, wants to kind of say anything else. But just, again, a little token for the 8 years on council and the time committed to our community. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
The money's in the back.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, thanks very much, everyone. And Carl, I'm sure you agree, that was much appreciated. Yep,
Yes,
thank you.
very much so.
Thank you, Mayor. So that brings us now to our consent calendar items, which is only the approval of the November 18th minutes. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent calendar items?
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Jamie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. That brings us to comments by Mayor Siner.
Thanks, Mr. Dice. First up, we have the last curbside leaf collection on December the 8th. Keep in mind, there's a form on the website for that, and you have to schedule the pickup. They don't just pick them up automatically. Again, it's Saturday, December 6th. Next, we have the glass recycling pop-up collection event coming up on Saturday, December 13th. It's at Veterans Field, right up here, 4200 Sardis Road, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents are also encouraged to support the Loaves and Fishes Emergency Food Pantry by donating non-perishable food items. Food pantry volunteers will be at the pavilion accepting drive-through donations during those hours. The sponsors are Murraysville and Republic Services. There's also a little note down the bottom here. The Franklin Regional Cross Country Team is working with the organization Funds 20 RGS, who will sell the shoes at a large discount to people in third world countries to create microeconomics and teach business skills, and they will give a nonprofit of their choosing donation, in this case, the Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry. So they're wanting you to donate new and used shoes. Next, we've been having a problem with motorized vehicles, and they're not permitted in the municipal parks. It includes e-bikes, electric dirt bikes, ATVs, dirt bikes, and snowmobiles. A $100 to $500 fine in accordance with ordinance number 976-17. you will be cited. I can tell you that, and our police will figure out who you are. Lastly, and more importantly, the Santa at Sardis is this Saturday, December 6th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at Sardis Park, Rocky Hill Lane, Murraysville. Bonfire activities, s'mores, pictures with Santa. The information's on the www.murraysvilleparecreation.com. And that concludes my announcement.
Thank you, Mayor. That brings us to comments by the Chief Administrator. Mr. Nesica?
No updates for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to community input. Verdale? Thank you. We will begin with Mr. Ott.
I'm speaking on behalf of many people in Murraysville. I read the Penn Trafford front page. There's another price possibly increase to the people, the residents of Murraysville. It's stormwater control. I've worked probably 150 projects in Murraysville over my experience. 5 projects have actually been in national magazines. A person in Murray Woods 10 years ago, say, called me up. I did several additions on his house. And he called me up. He's retired. He said, Bill, my sewer line will not pass. I don't know why the sewer authority decided to start in Murray Woods, but they went throughout Murray Woods. He said, I can't afford the bids that I've gotten. So all of a sudden I became replacing, I bought an excavator and started replacing sewer lines, which wasn't my favorite project, believe me. I've done over 60 sewer lines, 14 additions just in Murray Woods. So I'm very experienced in sewer lines. Many of the customers that I've had, I feel sorry for them. They're the generation before me. I was in my 20s and 30s when I was doing additions for them. They tell me they can't afford to live in Murraysville anymore. The school taxes and other costs are so expensive that they're struggling to survive. And these are all people that have college educations. Most of them were engineers. So when I see a front page article about another price increase, it irritates me. I see a lot of empty property in Murraysville. A lot of buildings for rent. I called Emily, your engineer, she's a friend of mine, and she said people are saying it's too expensive to rent in Murraysville. Well, I'm a landlord. I own 4 properties in Murraysville. The one is on the corner of 4559 on the corner of Old William Penn, and Tar Hollow Extension. Actually, Tar Hollow Extension took some of my properties. And that's a different subject, and that's fine. It was needed. I am here for several reasons. I'm here to tell you about a bill that I was blindsided on. You talk about the cost of being in Murraysville. I get, out of the blue, I get a registered letter from the sewer authority. If you look at the second page, they were billing me $19,108 for my single property on 4559. When Murraysville had sewers installed, I hand dug the sewer line there. I paid for one tap. My father paid for one tap. This letter addresses that since I have 4 people on my sign, I am required to pay 3 additional taps and 3 additional EDUs. That building only uses 1/4 of an EDU, which is typical of a house, residential house. So they want me to pay, we backed it off, they want me to pay 3 EDUs, which is 10, 20 times more than the property uses.
Mr. Ott, you're going on to 5 minutes. Could you come to a conclusion soon, please?
Yeah. One of the conclusion is that's ridiculous. Anybody that has a house in Murraysville that rents it now is going to get slammed with how many people are in that building, no matter what the size. This next speaker rents off me, and I charge her very little rent because she's a nonprofit. Her budget has been cut, or not her budget, her funding has been cut tremendously. And I'm asking people in Murraysville to help out. They're overwhelmed with demand, but their budget is cut.
My name is Tara Stanton, and I am,
And just to be clear, so you're the actual tenant in Murraysville, correct?
yes, I'm one of the tenants in this building at
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
4459 Old William Penite Way. So my name is Tara Stanton. I'm the fundraising and marketing associate for East Suburban Citizen Advocacy. We have been in Murraysville since 1988. COVID kind of fell off, but we are making our way back in. Our mission statement is East, you can call us East Suburban, ECSA, whatever you want to call it. We go by them all. So ESCA provides advocacy for individuals with developmental disabilities throughout Westmoreland and Allegheny counties. So I've only been with this nonprofit for about 3 months, and this is what really hooked me into coming to work for them. It's our vision statement. We envision a community in which all people are appreciated and accepted without question, and where dignity and equality are unconditionally enjoyed. We are facing challenges. In this past year, like many nonprofits, we have faced significant financial strain and community funding. In 2025 alone, we have lost 25% of our funding. Not only have we lost 25% of our funding, we have, let's see, at the same time, our caseload has increased by 40% so far. We run on a fiscal year from June 30th to July 1st. So I can imagine that 40% number is even going to rise. With more individuals in our community with developmental disabilities seeking advocacy to help remove barriers and improve their quality of life. So that's where our challenge is. We don't have the money to do it. We do this for free for people with developmental disabilities, but we're running out of money. But this man behind us, he understands that nonprofits, we're strained. Every nonprofit out there is strapped right now. And in the midst of these challenges, our landlord, Bill Ott, has been a tremendous source of support. Understanding the pressures nonprofits face, he recently reduced our rent by half. And an extraordinary gesture that allows us to redirect critical resources back into the community we serve. His generosity is helping us continue our mission in a very difficult time. I don't know if you have any questions for me. These are 2 of our volunteers, and they've been with us since 1998. This is Mr. Ron and Donna Fories. They've been advocates, they've been volunteers, they're still very involved. So if you have any questions for either 3 of us, that would be great. But Mr. Ott has been very stand-up individual and come to our rescue with these prices. And I think what he's being charged, we use very little water. In that house, there are 4 tenants, but we have 2 rooms, we have a bathroom. That's it. I can't imagine that we are using that much water.
Yes, ma'am, and I can say Mr. Ott as well. That's very generous, and that's just an amazing gesture by yourself. Council, any questions for Ms. Stanton? Okay, thank you for your time, ma'am. Understood. That brings us to Mr. Kirk Rittiger. Yes, sir.
I also wanted to speak briefly about the stormwater issue that is occurring. I own a piece of property, actually, I own a couple pieces of property in Murraysville. Some are vacant, some are not, but I own a commercial piece, 4001 Partners, which is known as Choice Auto Sales, roughly 9.5 acres. My concern is, we developed the property about 4 years ago. I spent a substantial amount of money doing stormwater mitigation, and I don't know where I fall within the parameters of large commercial properties that were referenced in the news article that was out last week. But a quote from Mr. Wingrove was, with regard to the size and the pricing, a big property, it really varies. A big property could have an annual fee reaching into 5 figures. He added, however, many commercial properties are eligible for a credit on their fee. I would just hope that when council goes and addresses this, and if there's any more input that needs to be had by commercial properties, I spent approximately $200,000 putting a stormwater retention system in. It was, mandated for the development, and this kind of goes to what Mr. Ott had to say. It's almost unaffordable for people to have a business, pay rent in Murraysville. It's prime real estate. To have a successful business, you need to have a nice commercial piece of property. And, with regard to those of us that have developed in what I'm guessing the last 20 years, when these stormwater retention systems were mandated, we're in compliance. But if you drive up and down Route 22, there's multiple, older facilities that have zero stormwater retention, which obviously would be part of the problem. I recently, I shouldn't say recently, I'm in the process of building a house, and what I did in my house, which is just across the border in Penn Township, but I do have property in Murraysville, which will also be affected by this, I put cisterns in to collect the rainwater. I live in Harrison City currently. My house was built about 20 years ago. They have a system where there's small catch basins for stormwater. I don't know what the process is in Murraysville, but there's roughly 2 6-foot by 4-foot culverts that catch the rainwater from the gutters, flow into each other, and then disperse into my yard. I have roughly 1.5 acres currently. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, a big rain, some of these large rains that we've had can be pretty detrimental. Last year there was a lot of flooding in the area. My only statement again is I spent a substantial amount of money making my property up to code. It was engineered, it was approved, and I just hope moving forward there's something that the business owners or the developers that have already addressed this situation have some sort of thought put in from council.
Absolutely. That's absolutely going to be a part of our ordinance, and to a certain extent, that's part of the theory behind it is responsible property owners who say, wait, in the long run, it's better for me to just install on lot or some sort of storm detention pond system. It helps us, as the mayor said at the last meeting, he's 100% right. The issue is MS4 has put a lot of things that we used to put onto individual property owners, individual HOAs. Now the state has pushed it back onto us and essentially said, no, Murraysville, no, all other boroughs, municipalities, you will take care of those detention ponds, those stormwater pipes. And at the same time, to certain very large property owners, they pay a substantial stormwater bill, but one of the things it incentivizes is for those property owners to then finance or find a way to install better stormwater systems, which then helps Murraysville, lowers our costs, and that's kind of the theory behind the whole ordinance. So I can just say from experience with these things, you as a more recent developer will undoubtedly be due more of a credit than someone who built a large commercial concrete property decades ago and has absolutely no stormwater systems in place. So Michael, anything to add? I mean, any thoughts? Or?
No, that's exactly right. Just to address the cost component, you mentioned that he stated it could be a 5-figure bill. There are only what looks like potentially 2 properties that would even be in the 5-figure range, and that's if they don't have credits and if everything is applicable as without any deviation from what's been proposed. So that's an unlikely scenario just at the outset, but I just wanted to clarify that. As far as your particular property, based on what you've described, you would probably meet exactly what that criteria is. And I think it was even mentioned at the last meeting by the consultant. The newer properties and newer developments were all required to do stormwater controls, as you're describing, and those would be the ones that, as the council president mentioned, would be the ones that qualify for a credit. Those are the first ones that come to mind for the credit program. So on something like yours, it would probably be very easy to apply for and obtain credits toward the fee because you already have everything in place. We probably have all of that documented because your property is one of those newer ones that went through an entire process. What Dane is referencing is true, that some of the older properties that are decades old, they're just connected into the pipes and it just travels down the road. And some of those properties we don't even have documentation on. So you're in a different class, I guess. And in that regard, properties like yours would qualify for credits. So yeah, I think that you're in a scenario that's different from the older properties that didn't have to go through that process.
All right, thank you, guys.
For the good of the order, would anyone else like to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we will continue with our agenda. That brings us to our liaison comments and committee reports. Jason?
Yeah, the library, we met twice last week. The main discussion was around to select a contractor for the renovations. And thankfully, they were able to get 3 bids and work things out with the lowest bidder. So that's exciting. That'll move forward. Now the grant money can be applied to that contractor and plans will take place.
That's awesome. Thank you. Carl?
Yes, the Medic One meeting was held on November 20th. Some statistics, there were 101 service calls and 69 wheelchair calls. The year-to-date subscription rate is 25%, which represents 3,650 subscriptions to Medica One. Just to indicate the stability with Medic One in comparison with the mutual aid, which is the emergency facility based out of Greensburg. Recently, they had their chief executive and one other top executive let go. The Medic One received a grant from the Rotary of $8,534 for mannequins. The new organization that Medic One is using for billing is, as of the end of October, over 100% of their yearly goals, so they're doing very, very well. And just a note here is that an incentive to the employees to keep them, because it is a competitive environment, they are covering the deductibles with the health insurance. Medic One is doing that. And the final item was that they authorized the employee gift card for Christmas.
Awesome. Thank you. Matt?
Parks and Recreation meets next Tuesday, but this Saturday is the Santa at Sardis, and I know our staff's been working really hard to set that up, so it should be a great event. Please join us at 1 p.m. at Sardis Park.
Awesome. Thank you.
Back in a minute.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Jamie?
Planning Commission meets Tuesday, December 9th.
Awesome, thank you. Eli?
Yeah, the Pension Committee met for its third quarter review back in the middle of November. Consistent with really the markets, the quarter to date is around 7% growth. And remember, that's a portfolio that's blended, that has capital preservation and income as well as growth. We could say that the portfolio is within targets of its allocation. There was some discussion about some of the, because there's like a range of those targets. Some were on the high end of the range, some were on the low end. So there's some discussion about doing some reallocation, but no decisions have been made as of yet, but that's being considered.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, 7%. FTMSA meets on December 12th, I believe. Okay, that brings us to our council action items. Can I have a motion, please, for 13A?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1104-25, the 2026 salary ordinance.
Second.
Thank you, Mac and Jamie. Mr. Nestico?
Yes, pretty straightforward. This is the salary ordinance that is adopted annually. The salaries are set for the Public Works and Police by CBA. The remaining items are admin. And this is all part of the salaries that are set forth in the annual budget. So if there are any questions, JC and I are certainly able to answer.
Council? Yeah. Okay, hearing no questions or concerns, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, 13A is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to 13B. Can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1105-25, the 2026 tax ordinance.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jason and Eli. Most importantly, there's no tax increase, but Mr. Nestico, JC, anything to add?
No, that's correct. No tax increase. The council has the information in front of them in their packet, the proportion that goes to each fund, 5% to the general fund, 3.4 to capital reserve, and several other smaller funds. Again, no tax increase for this year, and again, that is reflected in the annual budget as well.
Okay, wonderful. Council, questions or concerns?
No.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 13B is unanimous. That brings us to 13C. Can I have a motion, please?
Yeah, motion to adopt resolution number 807-25, the operating budget for the 2026 calendar year.
Second.
Thank you, Eli and Jamie. Michael, JC, anything to add?
Sure. Again, certainly able to answer questions. I know we held the public hearing and talked about the budget quite a bit a couple meetings ago. If there are any outstanding questions, we can certainly answer. The only department that really saw an increase from year to year was the police department. That was explained. There were several reasons for that, including the hiring of a new officer and some of the costs going up for health care and insurance. But otherwise, pretty straightforward budget as compared to prior years. Not much of a difference or deviation. Still planning for various projects through the capital budget as well. So again, JC is present that could answer any questions, but that's about it.
Oh, thank you. All right, obviously we've had presentations on this and time to review the Kinko's packet. That's always a great asset. So any questions or concerns from council? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, 13C is unanimous. Thank you, Michael and JC.
Hey, JC, thanks for your work on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too, man.
Yes.
You do a great job
Absolutely,
presenting it.
yeah. That brings us to 13D. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to advertise ordinance number 1107-25, the fee ordinance.
Thank you, Jamie and Jason. Michael, anything to add to this one?
So this is for, sorry, I was having a sidebar here. This is for the fee ordinance. This item was tabled last meeting because we weren't quite prepared. So I'll give just a brief rundown of what this contains. It's mostly minor items. There are a few changes that we'd like to make in the fee ordinance. The first relates to escrow amounts for various development projects, asking council to slightly increase those amounts. Again, this is for the escrow, not for the actual project cost. what we're running into is for some of the different larger developments, the escrow has to continually be replenished. And so increasing the initial escrow amount and the balance to renew will kind of assist the municipality, as you can see up here on the screen. It'll assist us in having to do less correspondence with the applicant, less letters requesting to replenish the account and things like that. So that's the amount for the escrow fees. Additionally, the zoning hearing board currently does not have an escrow amount. After reviewing this with staff, it seemed to make some sense to include this amount because we do incur costs for the zoning hearing board. And up till this point, the municipality has absorbed all of those costs. The MPC does allow for the municipality to pass some of those costs on to the applicant. Those would be, for instance, like the court reporter's fees and having the stenographer do the printouts and things like that. And then the advertising fees. So again, those are costs that the municipality has absorbed historically. But if a zoning hearing is prompted by an applicant, we felt that it was somewhat warranted for them to pay the cost for advertising and for the stenographer. Again, it's only half the cost for the stenographer as authorized through the MPC. So those are the escrow fees that we're asking council to consider modifying. Under application fees, no changes to the fees, just the language for minor and major land development. The reason for that change is simply to align with the ordinance and the language in the ordinance for those types of projects. It'll make it a little bit clearer for individuals who are looking through the fee ordinance to understand where their project falls as far as costs. So it would just be terminology modification there. Under the police department are getting numerous requests for video footage, specifically from insurance companies. We don't have a fee for that. It is a laborious process to provide video feeds or video, I guess, DVDs or what have you. They're for both body camera, dash cameras, and also the intersection camera. So the police are asking to consider a fee of $100 for that service. And then as we move down, you can see here with copies. We really don't do many copies anymore. As you can imagine, most things are digital. So this will kind of just streamline that process. We don't really have a large and a small map or a large and a small GIS map. So it could be a flat fee. We haven't charged either of these fees in a very long time. So just kind of cleaning up the language and keeping things simplified, but also most folks get things digitally, and so therefore they're not even really paying a fee. We can send those things over, and most of the maps are available online on our website, and there's no cost to them anyway. And then lastly, a little bit more of a substantial change, and again minor, is cleaning up some of the information and the language in the recreation fees. So you can see there, and it was in the briefing, some of the changes, removing the Murraysville Trail Alliance because they no longer operate, changing the service fee language because sometimes the way that the payments are made, the fees can be different, so it would be surcharges applicable to all credit card payments, and they are looking at a new credit card provider. Removing the Grove from the rentals. We don't really rent that area out. It's kind of just a picnic area. Eliminating the fee for electric from the pavilions. This may be the most substantial of all. And again, it's not much of a substantial fee, but right now, most of the pavilions, with the exception of I think 4, have electric available. So for ease of payment and processing, the rec department suggested that maybe we just increase the fee to $85 and $160, $10 above the current fees, and just bake that cost in for electric to all of the pavilions. That way it's just a streamlined process and a streamlined accounting setup on our website and for the billing purposes. And then again, kind of going down there, the service fees for the clubhouse and the community center, as well as changing the weekday rate at the clubhouse to be the same as the community center, offering the same rates and the same time frames, again, kind of cleaning everything up. So those are, and then there are just some terminology changes there. So again, a little bit more in depth than probably necessary. They're all relatively minor. None of that is a substantial part of any of the revenue that comes into either of these departments, but it just kind of cleans things up in the fee ordinance, adding a couple fees specifically for the police department and the zoning hearing board. And otherwise, that's generally what we're looking at here. So certainly able to answer any questions, not much of an impact to the budget, and it would just help staff kind of straighten things out on the billing side of things.
Okay, council, questions or concerns? Again, just a general update. I understand, obviously, with the right to knows, you can get 100 in a day, so DVDs add up. So with that being said, any final thoughts, council? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 13D is unanimous. Can I have a motion for 13E, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the police chief agreement between the municipality of Murraysville and Chief Thomas Kaczynski.
Second.
Thank you, Mac and Jamie. Somewhat self-explanatory. Mr. Nestico, anything to add?
Sure, not much to add there. The chief agreement, as well as the captain agreement, are just kind of restatements of their existing agreements. They get renewed biannually, and so this is that agreement, and there are no substantive changes to the language in the agreement.
No, absolutely. Council, questions or concerns? Okay. We thank Chief Kaczynski for staying on. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 13E is unanimous. That brings us to 13F. Can I have a motion, please?
Consider approval of the police captain agreement between the captain, David Coleman, and the municipality of Murraysville.
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Jamie. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Murraysville's agreement with Captain David Coleman. Again, we thank him for serving our municipality. Any questions or concerns from council?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 13F is unanimous. That brings us to 13G. Can I have a motion, please?
Yeah, motion for approval for chief administrator agreement between Michael Nestico and the municipality of Murraysville.
Second.
Thank you, Eli and Jason. Again, self-explanatory. Michael, thank you for staying on.
Sure.
Council, questions or concerns? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 13G is unanimous. Thank you, thank you.
You can keep going for the rest of the meeting. Yep.
Sure.
That brings us to 13H. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the Westmoreland County Transit Authority local share assessment in the amount of $1,375.50 for the fiscal year. Should that be 2026 to 2027?
Yes. Well, no, it actually isn't, is it?
It spans from July until
Okay, their
June of the
fiscal year's
following year,
different.
but
Okay.
They don't give us the renewal
Okay.
quote until
So fiscal
November,
year
December.
2025
Yeah,
to
it's
2026.
we're actually
Thank you.
6 months in.
Yeah, it's a little strange how they.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jamie and Eli. Again, pretty minor, but Mr. Nestico, anything to add?
No, the only item JC pointed out, we did get confirmation from the Transit Authority that it does serve, is it 900 riders per month, roughly?
910. So this last number, we last got the update a few years ago, and it's actually gone up that they checked in and they verified that 910 riders take that monthly.
Wow.
The briefing is incorrect, but other than that, no changes, and
Awesome.
it has been the same rate for the local share amount since 2018.
Just out of curiosity, Jamie, do you know, did they indicate that working from home has been like a chief factor in the reduction of ridership?
Well, it's actually increased. So
It is
I'm not quite sure the last time we got that number, but I reached out to her this year and I said, could we get like an updated number to know how this is actually working? And so it's gone up to 910.
Oh, okay.
So that might be due to gas prices, commute, but it does service a good bit of people monthly.
Okay, wonderful. Any final questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. 13H is unanimous. That brings us to 13I. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to advertise ordinance number 1108-25, the stormwater fee ordinance.
Second.
No, thank you, Carl and Jamie. Obviously, this is just the advertisement. You know, we had a discussion about this at the last meeting. We had another discussion about it during the citizens' comment. Any thoughts from council, concerns?
I have a couple.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So interestingly enough, I received a phone call the other day from somebody who lives in a different borough, that their church had just received a letter stating what their stormwater management fee was. So he was calling me to ask me about our municipality, interestingly. So his concern was because they are a nonprofit, that some of the fees that their ERUs were large enough that they were going to struggle to pay that. So I called to ask about the credits. That's where I think is really important and I think is missing. We touched on it a little bit tonight because I did not see anything in the ordinance that listed like what those credits would be or where to look to see what those credits were. So I don't know if that's something that we can, I guess, discuss a little bit, but also maybe have something in there where there's a link to where you could actually find what some of those would be. I think that might help clarify with some people too, who qualifies for what.
Sure, and just to elaborate on that, I think that's a valid question and a good question. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I have everything here in front of me. The consultant that assisted us with the stormwater fee analysis provided a template for a credit program. And the way that it would work, the way that it works in most communities and the way that it could work in Murraysville would be similar. What would happen is the municipality, or I'm sorry, the ratepayer would submit an application for a credit on their stormwater bill. And that would be based on, again, as we talked about earlier in the meeting, having stormwater controls already existing on their property. So they would submit an application to the municipality. The municipality would then review that application, do an inspection, ensure that they do have adequate stormwater controls, whether that be a retention pond of some sort or some other catch basin or anything that would constitute stormwater controls or stormwater measures on their property. Certainly any newer property that has gone through the process of development in more recent years would already have something like that in place or would likely have something like that in place. The traditional, or I should say the typical programs that typical credit programs in other municipalities offer a 50% discount is usually what we see. Now for Murraysville, the reason why we haven't had too much discussion on the credit program itself is because that would be something that would be set by council. And the way that it is listed in the draft ordinance, just trying to scroll down to it. The credit program, I think it even says in here, could be set by a resolution of council. So what I would envision is if council does have an interest in advancing the ordinance and setting the fee in place, the decision right now would be what the fee amount would be, the ERUs, the size of the property, et cetera. But knowing that that the fee might be put into place, then staff would then work on a credit program. Again, we have the template for not only the stormwater credit application, but also a template that has been used in other communities for the appeal process as well, if for any reason the credit were denied and they wanted to appeal it further, that would go to council. So we would use those templates and kind of build out basically the credit process And then council could set that forth by ordinance. That would be clearly spelled out for the ratepayer, so that they know what they have to do or what criteria they have to satisfy in order to receive a credit. And again, as I said, it can be set any way that council wishes, but what we see in most communities is that if you have proper stormwater controls, you're eligible for up to 50% of a discount on your annual bill. I'm not sure if there's more to add to that or if you have any
No, I think that was
further questions.
that-
But and again, just kind of for clarity and trying to be transparent to the community, the reason why we didn't establish that yet is certainly the fee itself is a big ask of the community and a big ask of council to put into place. So we didn't go down that path of setting forth the credit program or even establishing who would do the billing yet. I think that's something that we would cross that bridge if and when council decided they would want to move forward with a fee itself. If for any reason council chooses not to go in the direction of a fee, then certainly we don't need to go and put those items together. So what we would, another thing, as we discussed earlier today, just kind of trying to provide some clarity to the community and to council, what staff would envision is if council does put the fee in place, and again, if council follows the timeline that we may be on and that fee gets set in place by January 1 of this coming year, what you would see as compared to other municipalities is the bill probably wouldn't go out until sometime late in the first quarter. So that gives staff time to go and locate a billing provider or determine how they want to send out bills, what type of a credit program they want to put in place, whether they want to put a discount program in place of any sort for, or various payment programs, things like that. So all of that relates to billing and credits on billing would probably come next if council does choose to move forward with the ordinance, and that could probably come sometime early in the first quarter, and I would probably be coming back to council again before we would prepare for billing to set all those policies in place.
I have one more
Sure.
question as from calling you earlier.
No problem.
So at the last meeting, I think it was a little unclear as to what the municipality is currently spending on stormwater management as it exists now versus what the expectation with the new revenue and the benchmarks that we have to meet are. So could you just talk about that, Michael?
Sure.
To the public.
Yes, and so I think the easiest way to describe it is, as based on the proposal put forth by the consultants, they are, for the sake of round whole numbers, looking at a revenue stream of $965,000 a year, upwards of maybe $1 million. So if we are in that general ballpark, and again using round numbers and kind of simplifying things, that would be the revenue stream that the municipality could expect to receive each year going forward. As we are situated today, without that revenue stream, we are spending anywhere from, and it's kind of an estimate, between $300,000 to $500,000 a year annually on stormwater expenses. And the reason why we don't have clear numbers on that is, one, it's not a segregated utility right now, so we don't account for staff or public works department costs and things like that, some of the O&M costs as well. But also because since it's not a clearly defined utility right now in our structure, things carry over from year to year. There are some years where we do more ponds and do more pond retrofits than other years, depending upon the budget, depending on the resources available. There are some years where we do more catch basins, more pipe work, more ditch work and road work, berming, things like that, than other years. That's dependent upon weather, especially in the summer months. It's dependent upon weather, it's dependent upon road projects and which roads we're paving, which roads we're doing work on, and then of course staffing as well. So in any given year, we may do, and I use the example from 2 years ago, we did a lot of berming work in the month of July. We were caught up, we had good weather, we had full staff, and we were able to provide all of the resources out in the community. We did about 3 weeks worth of road berming work. It was to the tune of around $165,000, I think was the kind of the estimated cost for that work. This past summer, we weren't able to get to road berming, so again, that wasn't part of our cost structure. So in any given year, we're anywhere between $300,000 to $500,000 for our current costs, but we are also, and again, kind of as mentioned, you may then question, well, what is the additional amount of revenue necessary for? And that's for all the things that we are not getting to, things that we're falling behind on, some equipment costs. We have equipment from the 80s that's kind of failing us, and it's been getting the best of us. But again, most of that is because we have upcoming projects, upcoming work that needs to be done, things that we've kind of delayed and pushed off, and then also the upcoming NPDES requirements that we expect to change in 2029 that all the communities are talking about as far as increasing the costs overall for stormwater, I&I, and stormwater work. So it's kind of a combination. The number that the consultant came up with is a combination of work currently being done and then work that's projected to need to be done or that's being neglected right now that we kind of need to start to tackle. So hopefully that provides at least a little bit of a clearer picture of what we're looking at.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael, does part of the MS4 permit include, I think there's some plans that have to be implemented as part of that. Does that include, okay, we had these big storms last May, June. Does that include looking at the problem, monitoring it, and prioritizing what's done next based on some of those problems?
If I'm understanding your question, do you mean like from the flooding concerns, addressing some of those issues? So, no, and it's in the easiest or clearest way to describe it, this fee in many ways wouldn't even get to the level of addressing some of the concerns we had with flooding that we saw last year. And I'm referring specifically to some of the areas on Old William Penn and some of the overflows with the creek. This would help generally in addressing stormwater and flooding issues, but the specific issues from last year were probably more so related to, one, a unique event, almost a 500-year flood event, and then also just the nature of those properties and the type of, and the issues that we've had with flooding there for really decades. So if I'm understanding your question, and then just to be fair to the community, I don't want to be misleading in saying, well, if we implement this fee, all of a sudden we're going to stop the flooding down there in Old William Penn, we're going to stop the flooding in some of those low-lying areas. It will certainly help to curtail some of that. It will help to keep that water moving. We can do more with this money. We'll be able to do a little bit more of the the berming work and the ditch work and things like that will help keep that water moving. But I don't want to misstate anything and mislead the community that if we implement this fee, all of a sudden we're going to be able to eliminate some of our flood control problems, because those are probably bigger projects. We've already started to have meetings with the DEP and our state representative to try to figure out how we can pursue a project there. But this fee itself is not going to, in and of itself, eliminate some of those flooding concerns. Those are somewhat bigger projects that this will only help to assist with.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike, the credit part of it, the application of a credit for that, would that be both commercial and residential? Like the units that are single-family home, if you put something in place when you built your home, or you want to put something in place after your home is there,
Yep.
for your own stormwater management on your single-family property, you'd be able to apply for that credit as well. And then also the larger businesses, that maybe don't have it, hopefully maybe they'll look into having that moving forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As it relates to businesses, larger businesses, the goal is either to see that they have stormwater controls in place, or they may consider instituting some of those. As it relates to residential properties, again, it's kind of at council's discretion, but we have examples, the consultant kind of detailed, I think at the last meeting, that if you put a rain barrel in or something like that, then you may be able to receive credit for that. So yes, it can certainly apply to all ratepayers, all the way down to the single family home that's paying, again, with the proposed rate of $84 a year. So they may be able to receive a little discount there as well. And again, that's something that would be at the discretion of council to set that policy in place as part of the credit program.
The wording refers to $7 a month or $84 a year, and I would opt for a quarterly bill.
Yeah, I think that, and again, that's all part of what needs to be explored, and I don't want to go too far down that path unless council wants to kind of examine that. But I think that what we've gathered from most communities is for the single-family home, the residential ratepayer, $84 a year. It sounds like most communities suggest, and their feedback is, a single bill usually works best for that ratepayer. It kind of simplifies things. It prevents multiple mailers, multiple postage, and then them having to do the same thing back. It's a low enough amount, or at least that's kind of the suggestion. It's a low enough amount that it can be absorbed in one payment, $84. As it gets to the other ratepayers that are paying a more substantial bill, then I certainly think that should be something that is offered. And again, there could be a threshold set as far as the dollar amount or the square footage amount, impervious surface amount, and anything that's above that level, then you could certainly send out quarterly bills or whatever you'd like. I mean, you can go all the way down to monthly if you wish, but again, the more bills you're sending out or the more notices you're sending out, of course, there's a higher cost to that. But we certainly want to be fair to the ratepayers and recognize that for those larger ratepayers, they maybe not able to swallow that all in one bill, so a quarterly payment may work better for them. So that's, again, all part of something that I think would be explored if the fee is put in place and as we get into like the structure of how we do the billing. But there are certainly various options there available, and you can break that out based on the different ratepayers or a certain criteria for where the cutoff is for monthly versus quarterly bills. Or I should say, instead of monthly, but an annual bill. Even though it's billed monthly in the ordinance, most people would probably rather just pay it one time for $84 than get, multiple bills for a smaller amount.
So under section 5, number 2, it's very specific. So if we don't have that ironed out yet, and we're going to advertise this ordinance, should that be made more vague or?
You're saying, let me see, I apologize, I was under the wrong section there.
Yeah, that's
under 5, billing and collection?
Yeah, number 2.
So number 2, again, that's why it's highlighted in yellow. I think that's something that can be addressed going forward. It says first bill received or monthly payments. I think, though, as I reviewed this and talked with other communities, talked to the consultant, even though it may be billed as a whole amount in a one-time $84 payment for a residential ratepayer, it's still considered a monthly bill or a monthly rate. So again, that's why I highlighted that language, just to be sure that everybody is aware of kind of the way the ordinance is structured and how we want it to be worded. But again, those items in yellow I think can remain the same, and the ordinance can be considered in its current version because, again, even if you bill it out in a one-time payment, it's still actually a monthly bill. You're being billed $7 per month times the 12, and it comes in the form of a one-time payment. So at that, and again, you could change that language as well, but I think that kind of covers what the actual fee would be issued as a monthly fee.
Okay. Further questions or concerns from council? Again, this would just be for the advertisement to keep the process proceeding. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of 13I, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. 13 ayes unanimous. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to 14A under community development. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1106-25 to reclassify approximately 3.0469 acres, tax map number 49-11-00-129 on Hills Church Road from PL, public land, to R2, medium density residential.
Second.
Thank you, Jason and Jamie. Obviously, we've had a lot of discussion about this over the past few meetings. I think we all understand the theory behind it, and most importantly, it's being zoned what everything else around there is being zoned as, or is already zoned as, I should say. Any final questions or concerns from council? Okay, hearing none, 14A, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 14A is unanimous. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to 14B. Can I have a motion, please?
Consider approval of SP-6-25, Mr. Handyman Land Development, a major land development application to construct a paved parking lot and associated stormwater management facility, tax parcel 49-15-00-0-045, located at 4608 William Penn Highway, B Business Zoning District.
Thank you, Carl and Eli. Mr. Nustico, anything to add?
Yes, so the applicant is here. This is an item that previously came before council for conditional use approval to waive the requirement for a paved parking lot. If council recalls, the applicant wanted to have a gravel lot. That conditional use application was denied, and so the applicant went back to the drawing board and created the site plan for this particular location. It worked its way through the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did recommend approval with two different waiver requests. One is for the hydrogeologic study, and the other was for approval from the Conservation District. Based on the size of this property, this is not something that typically would require a Conservation District review, but our ordinances are a little bit more strict than the Conservation District, so they're asking for a waiver from that requirement. Again, the Conservation District's regulations wouldn't otherwise require this one to go through their study. So the applicant is here, probably could answer questions. This is for a property located up on the highway, and they have gone through quite a bit of a process for review in order to get to this point.
I have one question, but it's not for him.
Okay.
Carl read 5608, and in our outline, it has 5618. I just want to make sure the right address got read.
Let's see. I apologize for that.
The tax parcel's the same, but I just...
I believe it is 5618.
Okay.
I can confirm that as we're working our way through. Pardon me? I'm not sure. Do you have that in front of you? I'm going to pull up the GIS real quick.
Where are you?
That might be the easiest place to look. Brian Almeter with Farringer McCarty Gray. The plan of survey prepared by Jones Consultant has it noted as 5608 William Penn. 5618 may be the adjoining business that he also owns. So I'm not sure exactly which one is which, but the survey that was provided to us did have that address.
I have it right here from the GIS, and I apologize. I'm not sure if that was just a typo with a 0 instead of a 1. But the address on the tax maps indicates, oh, actually, it's both. There are two parcels there. That's probably why. So the one with the parking lot would be 5608, and that is parcel number 045. So 5608 would be the correct number. The adjacent business, I guess, is 18.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted...
No, that's okay. It's a good catch. But the tax map parcel number is correct, so that is the defining parcel number.
Okay. Questions or concerns from council? Obviously, the applicant's engineer is present. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 14B is unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We have nothing under engineering or public works and parks. Any old or new business from anyone? Nope. Okay. We just have one more motion. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Mac. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Aye, aye.